All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Help We're Stuck in a Box. This is the second episode that we will be doing where we're testing out, new people on the podcast and everything. So I have my cousin here, Tyler. Tyler, would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? My name's Tyler Ney, and related to the star here. And let's see. Other than that, I go by IvySnor online. But yeah. So what's up? What's up?
Yes, Tyler here does Twitch, and then
Yes,
may or
yes,
may
I do.
not start a YouTube channel with all the VODs.
Yes, yes.
So,
Little self plug.
yeah.
So on Twitch, you can find me at twitch.tv/IvySnor. That is IvySnor. And then I hope right now we've been playing a Nuzlocke of Pokemon Leaf Green that's going pretty good. And so hopefully after the series ends, I'll be starting my personal YouTube channel and start uploading the VODs there.
Yes, I will link everything down in the description below, so check it out if you would like to. Um, so let's just kind of get started. How are you doing today, Ty?
I'm doing good. Nothing too much exciting going on. Just been packing today. A bunch of packing.
Right, moving soon.
Yeah. It's like I was just thinking about it. It's like I gotta get all my stuff ready before next week. Once we get the house in order, because then I gotta find a way to move all said stuff there. So
Right. Yeah,
and
it's a little bit complicated.
a little complicated.
Yeah, I got a lot of shit to start getting ready for. New furniture coming in, everything like that, and
Uh,
we don't quite know all what we're getting. We've been told multiple different things, so
like what from different people?
yeah, so my dad was saying that, his Uncle Larry was giving us, a bunch of stuff, and then we have this, like, new tables, couches, all this other shit. So,
Uh,
here's Ariel, and I kind of going, like, well, what do we do from here? You know?
uh,
And so I think we're going to wait until we see the house, like, in person to see when, like, where we'll put everything, and, because the pictures don't do it enough justice.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's just like I haven't seen like any rooms in person yet, so I'm hoping that like all the stuff I have now will fit. I'm pretty sure. But then of course, I want to get some new furniture for my room and whatnot.
Right, right.
At least a new desk. I really want a new desk.
Hold on, give me
So
1 second. All right, now we're back. A little
and
interruption.
we're good.
Yeah,
We're
we're good. Sorry,
good.
little interruption.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Ooh.
So what's going on with you, man? Anything
Uh,
exciting?
not not super much. I mean, went to the dentist today.
Uh,
First time in quite a while, and my dentist was just like brand new dentist, by the way, that I'm going to. My family's gone to him. They love him, so
that's cool.
just
I
decided
need
to
to
try
find a
him
new
out.
one myself.
Well, this one was really good, and I can always like hit you up with all the information and shit. But it was like, yeah, your teeth look perfectly healthy. Your teeth and gums, these are the best teeth I've seen all month. And I was just like, oh shit.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
all right, go me.
Hell yeah. Perfect teeth achievement.
Perfect teeth. Even though they're sort of wonky and somewhat crooked for some of them, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still got that pretty smile going on.
yeah. So
What's up?
I wanted to bring up something with you.
All
Um,
right.
did you
Hit me with
hear
it.
about like all the Elon Musk shit that's going down recently? Like a lot has changed. Um,
Uh, like,
Bitcoin
like,
slightly crashed. Like it went from 50,000 down to like 30,000.
oh
To
shit, for real?
Yeah. So people are all like mad because they're losing their money. It's like, well, only you should only be putting in the money that you are acceptable to lose. Like if you're fine with losing this amount of money, put in that amount of money. You know?
Oh yeah, I agree there because to me, stocks is just a gamble in general.
Right. And you can't be mad if the shit crashes because that's what that shit does.
That's the
It
risk
goes
you're
up and
taking.
down. Right. So only put in the amount of money that you're worth. like that's worth to you to lose. And so I think partially a lot of it came like right after Elon Musk hosted SNL, being the first person with Asperger's, I think he said, to host SNL.
Oh,
And
cool.
after some of his skits, the price of Bitcoin started going down.
Hmm. So what are they just
like
blaming that on him
like that
because
and
of a mere coincidence?
like that and then also Dogecoin, which Dogecoin was only boosted up because Elon Musk said Dogecoin like once or twice, which makes
Yep.
sense. Um, but also Elon Musk had stated a little while ago that a lot of people would die on the Mars mission, and people were not happy with him. Because
Well, I mean, go ahead.
unlike NASA, Elon's not gonna hide the fact that people will die, on this mission.
Uh, well, I mean, it's like it's going to be like the first trip to Mars, so I mean, there's going to be huge risks to take,
Right?
and since we haven't traveled to Mars yet, we're not even sure yet if the whole plan of what was it like stopping at the moon first to get a refuel and then head to Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just all sorts of risks they're going to be taking. So of course, whoever's going to be on that flight has to risk their own lives.
Right. But people were
Whether
not happy with him with this news.
Yeah, I'm sure of like somebody pointing out is like, hey, when this happens, someone could die, but a lot of people take that as someone will die.
Right. I just
But
thought it was crazy because I'm like,
that's
people don't want
crazy.
to accept the fact that people will die. It's like the first moon mission, and most of the moon missions right after that. Like, it was just kind of like a race to get to one spot,
Pretty much.
and you had to take those drastic measures and kind of just hope for the best.
Yeah, and like wasn't there I think it was called the Challenger? Wasn't that the one spaceship that crashed on launch?
Yes, I believe so. It either crashed on launch or blew up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget when specifically that happened, but I remember about it. So I mean, it's just those kinds of risks you got to take.
Right. I think it's
I
just
mean,
something that you have to deal with for now, you know?
yeah, because like I said, this is going to be our first trip to Mars, and we're not sure yet how that's going to go. If stopping at the moon's going to be a for sure thing, or if we can develop something enough power to get us a direct flight from Earth to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus, once we're on Mars, how well is our technology going to take that?
Right. It,
Like for someone to be the first one to walk on Mars and all of that. There's just all sorts of many risks going on.
right. Their own body has to go through so many different like workout regimens and everything so that they can withstand the pressure and gravity of Mars because it's different than
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah, it's going to be a drastic difference in gravity, especially once they stop on the moon. The moon's going to have a different gravity compared to Earth and Mars. So their body's going to experience three different kinds of levels of gravity.
Right. In such a short period of time.
Relatively, yeah.
And then also, Neil deGrasse Tyson stated that the moon is spinning away from Earth the width of two like fingers every year, which when you first think about it doesn't seem like a lot,
Yeah.
but within 10 years, that's 10 basically or 20 fingers like long.
Yeah.
So that's like a whole another like foot or so away from the fucking Earth, and each year after that, it's just going to keep increasing. And as that
Hmm.
gravitational pull from the Earth to the moon just keeps decreasing, it'll mean waves will be less. Like basically, it'll throw off the entire Earth.
Yeah, that would definitely be a drastic change because obviously, without the moon, then there's going to be less light at night per se.
Yeah,
Um, but then, like, think about it. I mean, it kind of makes sense since you have another giant object rotating around the Earth, and so since they're going at two different speeds, I'm assuming, um, either the Earth or the moon's faster than the other, thus slowly pulling one of them away.
Right.
My best guess. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's gonna be interesting because shit's already changing this year.
Uh,
Like a little while back, a an anglerfish washed up on shore.
yeah.
And for people that don't know, the anglerfish, and I'll look it up um, just to make sure. Anglerfish basically live so fucking deep down in the ocean to the point where they developed a little lantern on the front of their head so that way they could either see better or also catch prey. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Yeah.
since they live so deep down in the ocean, everyone's big question is like, why wash up on shore?
Yeah. How did it wash up on the shore? Why did it how did it swim up so high and
Right.
then end up on dry land? Hmm.
Because yeah, everyone's kind of confused. Uh, yeah. So this says only females possess a long stalk on the head with bioluminescent tips, used as a lure to entice prey in the darkness of waters as deep as 3,000 feet. 3,000 feet,
Interesting.
below the surface of the ocean, and here it is,
Yeah.
just washing up on a shore somewhere.
Hmm.
And this shit's scary too. Like it's a giant black fish. Like basically, it looks like oil was spilled on top of this fish.
Jeez, look at this thing.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And so they're trying to learn why it washed up on shore and if that's going to change anything about the habitat, like if that's just a sign of what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they're pretty scared of that because if that shit continues, right? If
Yep.
that shit continues to happen, more and more fish are losing their habitats and something has to be done way below the surface of the ocean, you know, considering we haven't explored most of our ocean, which is
Mm.
fucking insane, but it could mean that there's something bigger down there that's pushing them, closer and closer to the surface.
Yeah, apparently the same thing happened to a Pacific football fish not
Huh.
too long ago.
Pacific football fish.
Yeah, from my quick research right here.
Oh, is that the one that's all covered like completely black?
I think so.
Because
I mean, the anglerfish has a little dangling thing on top of his head.
yeah,
I'm just
that's what
reading.
I'm talking about. Yeah, that thing. Pacific
Yeah, yeah,
football fish. I think it is a breed
yeah.
of anglerfish though. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is
it
an
is.
anglerfish, deep sea anglerfish, but
Okay.
dang.
Hmm. It's fascinating.
The world's changing and
It really is slowly at a
humans
time,
don't
every single year.
humans don't want to acknowledge that shit.
Well, you know,
And when we do it in the wrong ways because I'm sorry, but petitions won't change shit.
not not really. I mean, it's a great way to show people's concern slash support for an issue, but until it heads up, until the demand reaches to the right people, not much is going to change.
Right. And so like a lot of people will do something like change.org, and I've only ever signed one change.org petition, and that was to combine the two Dakotas to be one megakota instead of North and South Dakota.
See, now that's a great plan.
That's a great plan. I think it would just be better. But change.org doesn't really make laws. People think that if you
No,
just create a
no.
petition, something will happen from it. No. You can you can make a million fucking petitions, but until you bring it up to until you actually bring it up to Congress and try and have them like institute it into a bill, it will go nowhere.
Yeah, yeah,
So
pretty much.
signing majority of petitions does nothing. You have to take actual initiative and action in order to get any change.
Mhm.
But that's not how majority of youth works in this day and
Well,
age.
well, yeah. I mean, I think it's just right now since we live in a time where it's hard to find legitimate sources So it's hard for a lot of people to believe what they see on the news. And plus, these days, um, I don't think there's much as an incentive to keep up with what's going on in the world with news and all that to today's generation and the next generation,
Yeah,
the one that's up and coming, I should say.
I get that. I think it's something that's a little bit scary because no
It
one
is
really wants to do their research anymore on a topic before they start speaking about it.
not these days, not really.
You know, and everyone falls victim to it. I fall victim to it too. I'm not going to act like a fucking saint and savior and
Oh
say
hell
that
no, I'm guilty of
I
that too,
always
man.
do research, but I try and do as much research on the topic as I can before I start talking about it because I like to have an informed opinion about, whatever I will be talking about.
Yeah, which I mean, it helps because then at least you know what you're talking about.
Right. And so it's always fun at work because I've got a few different coworkers that do the same thing. And so we'll have like such like intelligent conversation about something. And then like I'll have a couple people come in, talk about it too, and they're just like, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to respond to some of these things, because it was never something I had prepared for. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
It's also funny because at work,
yeah,
there's quite a few people that will fall on the like complete Democratic side, and some will fall on the complete Republican side. And I'm like,
yeah.
I just really want to see an argument between, one of each,
Uh huh.
because I try and keep my views more central. I try and keep, my views not affiliated with a party. Because personally, I don't like either party. I think there's a lot of flaws to having a political party that you believe in, rather than
Uh
just trying to pick a president because they have good ideologies and an actual plan. And so
huh.
when people want to say, oh, Trump's all bad or Biden's all bad or whatever, there's pros and cons to every single president.
That's
But
true. I mean,
a lot of,
that's just it with any decision, really.
right, but a lot of Republicans won't talk about the pros about Biden, and a lot of Democrats won't talk about the pros of Trump. And I'm like, and I'll sit there and I'll talk to both sides at work, and I'll just start listing off like pros of each president, and they're just like, well, here's this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying they're fucking perfect. Like by all means, neither of them are perfect,
Yeah.
but you have to respect, the fact that they are your president for the time being, whether you voted for
Yep.
them or not.
Yep. I'll agree with that.
Sorry, not trying to take it in like a whole political fucking side for another fucking episode.
It's all good, dude.
Ugh.
It's all good. I mean, it's just stuff like that. It just basically boils down to what your opinion is, and it's better to have an informed opinion other than just basically just going off like the title of articles. You know.
Right. And I want to throw this out there yet again. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
Absolutely.
No matter what it is, I get that there are some things that could be considered wrong, morally wrong, and I fully understand that, and I'm not justifying them having those opinions. I'm saying that they are entitled to their opinion. If everyone in this country wants to have their own opinion, they can. That's how it works. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna take it away
Yeah.
from the political side
Yeah.
and transfer it
What you
over
got, man?
to what happened recently. I
All right. And
started
what's that?
I started doing this thing where I'm gonna play only Torbjorn in Overwatch for
Oh yeah.
open queue. Which open queue for people that don't know just means that there's no specific roles that someone has to play. There's not two tanks, two damage, and two supports. It's just anyone could be anyone. Um, and so Torbjorn is a damage hero that has a giant turret, and I decided, I'm gonna play as him just because I feel like I have a lot of fun playing him. Just kind of get to sit there sometimes and just watch as my turret reaps havoc, on the enemy team. But I
Uh,
started running into a lot of angry teammates.
over
Like,
what? Just
just because I'm Torbjorn and they think I'm not doing anything, and then I look down and I've got all the gold medals. I initiated most of the team fights. I closed
uh
off most of the team fights, and they still are like, God, fucking shit, Torbjorn. And I'm like, I don't know what you want from me.
I'm
Like
just playing as someone that I like.
at one point, I had killed four of the enemy team, and then we still lost the point, right?
Mhm.
And they go, God, why do we have a Torbjorn in the first place? And I'm like, what more? Like, did you want me to kill the entire enemy team by myself? Because, fine, if that's what it's gonna fucking take to prove it to people, then I'll fucking do it. But it just,
Hey,
it makes me laugh because Overwatch has hit this, like, I mean, they haven't just hit it, but they just recently got more and more and more toxic as more players start coming in,
yeah.
which is fun for me because as some of you out there may know, I feed off toxicity.
Hmm.
If someone gets mad at me, I end up doing better because I'm more relaxed because I know that in my heart I'm doing something good, but my teammates don't see it, and it makes me laugh every time. Because it's just like I don't have to prove anything to them. And so if we lose a match, we lose a match. It's no skin off my nose. And so I'm like, I'll just go back, run it back, play another match. I'm bound to win at some point.
Eventually, the odds of like just losing the entire time you play are outrageous. I mean, the odds of that are so slim.
And someone fucking called me useless the other day, and this was
Over
already in
what?
this
In
this was already,
Overwatch?
yeah, in Overwatch. This was
Oh,
already in
okay.
like one of the former videos I just posted. Um, and they were talking about Luke, one of my buddies. They're talking about him
Uh,
as well because he was playing Lucio, and I was like, Lucio's actually a decent character, right? And I checked the
yeah.
person's profile, and I don't know if I showed it off enough in the fucking video. I went through and I found out that they were a Mercy main with like over 320 hours on Mercy alone, right? Like gold,
Jesus.
gold, portrait picture and everything like that, stuck in
Uh,
gold. And that's like, fuck, I think it's like 3,000 hours.
uh-huh.
How do you have 3,000 hours in a game and you can't surpass, like, averageness?
I mean, I guess it's just a more of a casual player, if anything.
No, because I looked and they had, like, almost all their time was spent, like, 99% of their time was spent in competitive.
Oh, well then.
I was like, how? You must have played almost every single season, right? To get to that
Yep.
portrait. You would have to at that point, and you still can't rise above gold. I picked up PC Overwatch back in like October, and I'm still in gold after, or no, like December or something. I'm still in gold, and I'm fine with that. I don't care because I have fun making people mad in you know competitive settings.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's just it. Like in competitive modes, oh man, I'm a sucker for this. Is just where uh once you reach a certain like high ranking, that's when to me losing matters because I don't want to fall below that ranking.
Right.
Like in Overwatch or not Overwatch, Rocket League, when I like to play Rocket League, ever since they did included basically competitive into the hockey mode, I started playing that like crazy to where like uh during the first season I was ranked into diamond after my first 10
Wow.
plays, which I was like to me, I think that was just because my games were like just pretty much lucky. I got a bunch of wins. Some of them not because of like my plays, just because of me jumping into the game like, halfway, and it turns out to be a win. Like I would contribute a little bit, but at that point, it's like the game's already almost over.
Right.
Um, but then once I started playing seriously and got several more games in, I started hovering around like in the platinum range, like platinum 1, plat 2.
Wow.
And so, I pretty much just comfortable there, and I enjoy playing at that level and playing against a bunch of players near that level. But then one time I got into a serious, like bad losing streak. And after every loss, it's just like the game would tell you, hey, if you lose one more time, you lose your rank. Oh, if you lose again, you lose the next rank. And so I event by the end of that losing streak, I fell down to like gold 2, and like to me that felt the worst.
It
I was just
hurts.
like, I'm like, I know I'm better than this. I play better than this, but but at this moment, my rank doesn't reflect that. And so, I mean, that got me a little salty towards the end. I mean, by the time I finally gave up, I'm just like, Jesus Christ. All right, I need to step away for a while. And then eventually came back, and now I usually hover around like platinum 1, gold 3, which at this point now I'm comfortable with because I think with new players these days, since Rocket League is now free to play, I think it's pretty fair. Free to play with crossplay, so I'm playing with a
Right.
lot other people now compared to before.
Yeah, that's how it is for me. So like at my peak on Xbox for Overwatch, I almost hit, diamond. I was like one or two games away.
Yeah.
And I was trying. I was playing like I had probably like at most 100 games that season on support alone, right? That's where my highest
Uh,
rank was. And I was in platinum for the other two ranks or other two roles. And so when I come over to PC and I'm over here first season I ranked in platinum for all three, and I was like, whoa, and then it started going down, and now I'm like in gold, but I'm going up progressively season by season again, and so I
uh,
I love it because like as you said, like as the game went free to play for Rocket League, more players start to flood in, meaning that even the average ranks of where they were like before, so like if the average rank um, was like platinum, it gets increasingly hard to stay in that average rank as more players flood in because they come in and they'll throw games or they'll leave or they just won't play, that kind of shit.
yep.
And so it's funny because people will want to believe that they're way better than you and that they deserve a higher rank.
Mm.
And I know that, like, I could say in my heart, like, oh, I should be, at least a platinum player for support, but I'm gold. But I won't because there's no way that I would be a platinum player. I don't have the aim. Most of my shit comes down to technical stuff. I have got like the game sense because I've played the game for, fucking 4 or 5 years now. Like I have the game
Yep.
sense and I'm fine with that. The fact that I don't have on PC is I don't have any aim. And my
Uh-huh.
reaction time's a little bit slower than it used to be. And so people go, "Oh my god, this is such a shit team." And I'm like, you're a platinum player playing with a lot of bronze, silver, and gold players. You deserve to be here. Like, you're no better than us. If you're playing solo queuing into, competitive play, and you're placed with people that are, 300, 400, 500, rank below you, you deserve to be here because that's how bad you are, and you don't deserve the rank you currently have. And I'm sure you see that in Rocket League. And
Oh man, dude, that stuff I find very annoying, especially when it's going back to Rocket League. Like in Rocket League, like say your team ends up going down like 1-0, maybe 2-0, then you already get those salty people where they're like, "Oh, I'm on a shitty team. Oh, this game's over with." When there's like still 5 minutes left on the clock, it's just like, seriously, dude,
right.
the game just started. There's tons of time to play, and a bunch of times, I help our team come back or our team comes back or whatever. And there's games where we still lost. And then that same player immediately just goes once again, oh, this team's trash.
I just
But
don't
I'm like,
get it.
well, it's just like you're here too on the same level as us. All right. But there's a reason why you were placed in this game with quote unquote lower players for a reason, probably because that you've been on a losing streak yourself. You haven't been playing great games, and that's why you're here with lower tier players.
Right.
But it's just a lot. It's like, oh man, it's like a lot of, to me. I don't respond to any of that, but just seeing that in the chat, just being spam of like this team sucks. Da, 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 da. It's just like, come on, dude. This what's more irritating now is not us losing. It's just you being so salty about it. Like, well, what is that going to change?
Right. Like,
Like what? Like, oh, me and the other person's like, oh yeah, you're right, we're shit. Sorry, we'll play immensely better now.
sorry, we weren't trying before. We'll try
Oh,
now
I
that
was
you
I
are
was
so
half-ass
upset.
paying attention. Now that you pointed out that I'm playing trash, Oh man, sorry. Hold on. Let me turn on my pro controller here. Don't you worry. Um, but when at another chance, it's just like maybe just simply the other team's just better than us for this game. You know?
Right. And so I was thinking about that because it's like I watch a lot of, pros play Overwatch and they lose, first point, they lose second point. The other team's got still like 2 minutes on the clock, and then they go to attack. But you see that none of them are like, God, this is a trash team, fucking shitty players, blah, blah, blah. Or majority of times they don't. But, they're like, oh, this is winnable. And I'm like, the enemy team has fucking 3 minutes on the clock, and you guys are down to a minute, and you guys are still saying winnable. I'm like, that's the spirit that more players should take, especially in lower elos where they go, um, you're not the best player, blah blah blah, and they'll start trash talking to you. Oh, this is a shit team, and I've had that happen to me when we've capped the first point with 4 minutes left. And I'm like, what do you mean we're a shit? We just worked as a team to take the point, and now you're calling us bad because we took the point?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just oh man, those salty people out there. That just to me it makes some games tough to play. It makes it very tough to play.
Yeah. Like I started playing CS:GO recently because it's free,
Uh,
and I have some buddies that wanted to play. Shout out to that group. You know who I'm talking about.
Woot
Uh,
woot.
but CS:GO is a very like try hard game. I've noticed people they know exactly how to make each call out for each map. And even to the point where my buddies, he's like, I'm not gonna play this map. I don't know the callouts for it. And I'm sitting here as like a brand new player. I'm like, yeah, I don't know the callouts for that map either. Because I've never fucking played the game before.
Yeah.
But I realized that I'm not bad at that game. My aim's better in that game than it is in Overwatch because everything's more like linear,
Uh,
and so my reaction time's going up and everything. So we decided to do okay. By the way, as well, for people that are more on the sensitive side, don't play CS:GO because it is brutal. Like, I got called the N word um, within the first two
ooh.
hours. Within the first 2 hours of me playing it, my very first time. I was like,
Oh
I don't
man.
even understand why someone would want to do this. And then like a separate match later, like a couple days later, I'm playing and the other team's calling like using the hard R N word and everything like that. And one guy on my team goes, "Should I just like full toggle right now?" And I had no idea what that meant. It meant that he was turning on his cheats to kill the people that are on the other team that are swearing so profusely at us and calling us the N word and all this other shit, which they should not be doing. And so he just
Oh.
full toggles, meaning that like he's using his aimbot, and he just sits there in the fucking open, just clicking, bam, 4 headshots, kills 4 people on the other team. And I was like, see, this is what you get if you are a shitty person in this game. And I was like, we were
Yeah.
all completely fine with it. The enemy team was fucking livid. But we decided to go into competitive my first night. And the first game, we had lost pretty bad. We usually, if you see an anime profile picture in that game, you know you're going to have a hard time. Those are the guys that have been there for the whole fucking time. And so you have to win 10 games to get your rank. You have to win 10 games to know your rank, and I've not won a single competitive game yet. I, I've
Oof.
been I've been stuck going against people that are just either way too good or in one case completely hacking on both teams. Like the other team was hacking or my team was hacking a couple of them with like aimbots to where one guy I literally watched him shoot at the ground and he got 5 headshots and killed 5 people. And I was like, I don't think that's a part of the game. And then another 2 people on our team were using their cheats, their hacks, to lock on to us, their teammates, and just stand in front of us so we couldn't go anywhere. Just
Mhm.
just to be annoying. And so, here we are, me and my buddy Brett, trying to fucking play this game because we're like, we just want to play the game at this point. I end up getting fucking banned because I'm trying to shoot the enemy, and my teammates, of course, are trying to go in front of me to just annoy me so I can't shoot anything. I end up shooting one of them, and it's like, okay, you've been banned. And I'm like, well, alright. And then they kicked my buddy Brett a second later, like legit 2 seconds later. And I was like, well,
Wow.
now that I'm banned, I can't, I can't go back for another fucking, 30 minutes to an hour, and I've got to go to work. And I was just like, I don't, what's what's the appeal in cheating in a competitive game like that?
I guess some people just want to feel good about themselves, just seeing the big numbers, and they don't care how they get the big numbers. They just want the easy way.
Yeah, and it's like there's no cheat detection system in that game, really, and so people get away with it. You have to report them, and even if you report them, sometimes they can just turn off their cheats and then play a couple games without it, and they're fine,
Mm-hmm.
which is fucking ridiculous to me. But
Oh man.
and then I tried playing Valorant the other night, and I first of all, I do not have the game sense for Valorant. That game is ridiculously stupid in my opinion. I'm sorry. I understand why people like the game, and I understand why it is popular, but I
Oh
just
yeah, I've been
I'm just
seeing
not
this from
I'm just not in the
from
appeal of
plays.
this game. And as one of my buddies says, it's CS:GO Overwatch because it's a combination of Overwatch and CS:GO, and they mashed together, and that's how Valorant was basically created, like almost down to a T.
Pretty
And
much.
and I respect that because they made a decent game out of it, but I don't have the reaction time to sit there and just be like, "Oh, there they are, bam!" Because within that half a second of me saying that, I'm already dead.
Yep.
And it's like
The slight
sometimes,
hesitation.
yeah, and if you move the slightest bit, your aim's off. Like if
Mm.
you move the fraction of a centimeter to your right, your aim's just all wonky. And I'm like, I don't get it.
Mm.
It's not. They're trying to be realistic in some aspects of the game, but then be completely non-realistic in other aspects, and so it really throws me off.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, dude.
So recently, I've been seeing a lot of stuff for the new Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, like Village is
Yeah,
that just came out. I think so, a few days ago.
I was thinking about playing that, but then I realized that some of the characters return from Resident Evil 7,
Yes, yes.
and so I was
Like
like, Ethan, I know returns. And
that's all who I know. Like
That's all
Ethan
I know.
Winters.
Yeah, but I kind of want to buy the first game and play that through first. Like I've seen most of the gameplay, so I kind of
Like
know
Resident
what
Evil
happens.
7 or
But
Resident Evil 1?
7,
7. Yeah. Okay.
and then I know people are already creating mods and shit for Village to be horny little fucks.
Yep.
To put it to quickly put it, but it is fucking crazy that people are already doing that, and the game's been out for less than a month.
I don't, it's impressive like how people can do that in such a short amount of time. Just easily crank out a mod for a brand new game.
Yeah, brand new game of that scale too.
Yeah, like high quality too.
Freaking
Just like a day or two later after it comes out.
it's just so weird. I don't know if you've seen any of the gameplay with the mods. Like someone yeah did do the thing where you could spank like the vampire person or whatever she is, right? But then
Yep.
the one that I want to get whenever I buy the game, is someone turned all the zombies or whatever it is, those goopy creatures, they turned them all
Yeah.
into Barney.
It's a Barney.
Yeah, so instead of fighting a bunch of horrific things, you're fighting a bunch of Barneys. And I
Oh
really,
my god.
really want to get that one because I think that'd be super funny. It's like you turn a corner, instead of the scary monster, it's fucking Barney the dinosaur trying to
Yeah,
kill
I
you.
saw I saw a mod today where every time you see Lady Dimitrisou, I think that's her name, her hat gets bigger.
What?
Like every single time I saw like a quick like video of it. It's like literally every single time you pan the camera and you see her again, her hat gets bigger and bigger. And at one point, I swear her hat is like 20 feet long.
That's amazing. See, those are the mods I want to like have in a game.
Uh huh.
Like I remember, there's some Fallout mods that are similar to the Skyrim ones. Like, you can change the death clause in Fallout 4 to Macho Man Randy Savage, or change the dragons to Macho Man Randy Savage in Skyrim. But there's one where it turns the dragons into Thomas the Tank, and it plays like his little like theme track from the show, but like deep fried version of it whenever a dragon appears.
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
And those are the mods I appreciate because it doesn't like change every aspect of the game. It just makes it more interesting at parts.
Yeah. It those are a great way to like interact with the games. Like gives it a better experience.
Right. I'm not trying to look for a whole new way to play the game. I just want the game to be a little bit more vivid at times where instead of doing the same thing where it's like, "Hey, I need this. All right, I'll go get it. All right, thank you." And then like that 30 times over, I want something where it adds a little bit like something new to the game. Like new enemies or something, or possibly
So,
like absurd weapons. Like there's one where you can put any like mod on any weapon in Fallout 4, so you could have a pistol with a
uh,
cannonball launcher on the front of it.
yeah. Hmm. I mean, I kind of like those mods where it changes like the whole style in a way. Like a good one is like a Pixelmon for in Minecraft. I love that one because it
Yeah,
basically just turns Minecraft into one giant creative Pokemon game.
I like that. I like how you get to, create the Pokeballs and everything like that, and even the
I
battles are
think
cool.
Yeah, I think that's a neat little insight, a nice little touch. Like thinking about it, being like a little realistic is just like, yeah, you're surviving, so of course you gotta create your own Pokeballs if you want to catch Pokemon or whatnot. But at the same time, sometimes I'm not too big a fan of like being extra realistic with some mods. Once again, sticking to like the Minecraft one, there's like I think it's called I was just playing not too long ago. It's like Real Craft, something like that.
Hmm.
And basically it's like all the base mechanics are turned into basically just realistic stuff. So let's say like you can take damage specifically in your head, legs, arms, all that specific parts of the body, or food takes a more realistic time to grow, or the time cycle is a little more realistic. Um,
See, I don't like that.
having to build like stuff from the literal ground up. Like first you gotta grab twigs, create something to just break down rocks and all that. But yeah, like I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff because this is a fantasy game. This is a made up world. Like I don't sometimes to me games like that don't call for realism.
Right, especially when especially with like the food cycles, everything already feels like it takes forever in Minecraft at certain times. You don't want to wait
Yeah.
even longer for that shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And it's just like going back to the mod, like I remember starting out, you got to break down weeds to get practically little vines, and then you got to break down flint, and then you can create a little flint axe to where you can finally chop down a tree, and then once you get wood and stuff, you kind of go from there and slowly do like basic like Minecraft building. But it's just to me that's just a bunch of like extra steps that I have to worry about instead of just being able to play like normal Minecraft and walk in and just punch down a tree.
right, like
It's like I get that like some people like realism and all, but I mean to me just some games it's set in a made up world and I'm perfectly fine with that.
and I feel like that mod tries to take it a little bit too far on the realism. Like adding too many realistic things. Like if there is a mod,
Yeah.
you should be able to control like what can be turned on. Like, oh, food takes longer to grow, or you can take certain damage and body parts, that kind of shit. Now I know there's one mod that I really respect, and I can never remember the name of it, but basically you get this 3x3 cube, right?
Uh,
like a 3x3x3, and you just have to. You're given like a crafting table, I think, and like one other thing, and basically your whole thing is to go along this tech tree, but you can't
Uh-huh.
break the blocks of the cube. You can upgrade your cube to where, or I don't think you can break the blocks. You can upgrade your cube to where you can get a little bit more space, but it's really like it's supposed to feel really cramped and claustrophobic because you only have basically, you know, seven or six blocks to fully work with, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, when you punch the walls with your bare hand, you take damage, and then you have to wait for yourself to heal up. But then you get stuff every time you punch a wall. Like, you get a little bit of a shard, and then eventually you can turn that shard into whatever for a pickaxe, and then do that, and repeat that cycle. But it's really cool
Mhm.
because there's ways to, like, compost stuff and create a small little miniature farm in there, and then you can teleport to other little boxes for more space. So
Uh,
I like that aspect of it personally because I think that's a cool mod to change the way that Minecraft's played without removing some of the core fundamentals of like, oh, you can break this block to get this or whatever.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, and funny enough, with even though the mod was is called like Real Craft or whatever, it's filled with a bunch of made up mods too, and a bunch of like made up biomes and all that, a bunch of made up enemies, which makes it extremely tough. Like, of course, every single made up enemy is like extremely tougher than what realistically to me should be. And I'm just like, what's going on here? You have like a bunch of base mechanics filled with realism, but then you have all your all your fantasy elements everywhere else.
It's like the creator knew that they were making something that was super, like, way too realistic. So in their eyes, they're like, well, now I gotta balance it. So let's add some, like, unrealism, like,
I
some
think,
unrealistic things to this mod.
yeah, I think they like add stuff like that, of course, give it a nice extra little twist. And then on top of that, you know, for the people out there that really love like self-inflicting challenges and all that and love really very difficult games.
Yeah, like Dark Souls is already a difficult game, and I've seen people mod it to where it makes it even harder to where like the boss patterns are all randomized.
Uh
And so sometimes you'll have boss patterns where they strike in like a 2-4 fashion where it's like one strike, one strike, one strike, and so then they'll keep hitting you over and over again. And they'll put that on a
Yep.
boss that already does like a shit ton of damage.
Yep.
And so like I think realistic games have to be taken with a certain T. Like Dying Light. All right. It takes
Yeah.
the unrealistic, zombie genre, which for people that are on the same wavelength as me is no longer unrealistic with how our science is currently set up today. But I'm not going to go into that at this episode. Um, but it takes the unrealistic zombie genre of, oh, this person got infected, and it makes it more realistic, i.e., um, people are still helping each other. It's not everyone for themselves. You can craft weapons. Your weapons break after a certain amount of use. Ammo is very scarce. You can buy and sell and trade with different people. People can give you quests to go save loved ones or pick up memorabilia or something like that. You climb buildings, but only for certain types of buildings. That kind of realism is what I like because, the
Yeah.
zombies are tough to kill at certain points, but they're not impossible. And as your
Yeah.
weapons get better, it does more damage against the zombie. And so you'll even like I think there's skills in that game, but even the skills aren't like unrealistic. Yeah, the grappling hook mechanic a little bit unrealistic. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. You can't really just like fire a grappling hook like Spider-Man and fucking pull yourself over to something. But
Uh-huh.
like fucking kicking a zombie won't do much to it, and I like how realistic that is.
Uh-huh.
So it also runs off of, I believe, the Unreal Engine. So where their like collision detection is very good.
Uh-huh.
So everything kind of acts like a normal human. So zombies act like how a human would act if he got hit.
All right. All right. Yeah, I get that.
And I'm excited for the second Dying Light to come out. because I've played through
Uh,
majority of the first one. I'm on the DLC area now. And the DLC area ramps up the difficulty because it brings in different mutations with the zombies and a different little like
mm,
hive mind aspect of it, which I really like.
that sounds interesting.
Like, do you remember the scene in I Am Legend where he Will Smith goes into the building to find his dog,
Oh no.
and they're like he sees all the zombies like huddled up in a corner.
Yep.
It's like that. There's different like little cave spots to where it's nice and dark down there, and so the zombies will wait till nighttime to come out for the
Yep.
majority of like the more powerful ones. And so you can
Yep.
go in there, but it's like dangerous. So you go in there and you clear out the area. But if you do that, you have to run the risk of these powerful zombies coming in there and possibly killing you. And I like that aspect of you're going into like their nesting area basically and running the risk of dying.
Yeah. Speaking about I Am Legend, this is just a side note. Have you seen the meme where it's the one scene where Will's like driving in the city and he sees one of his little mannequin friends outside of the store and he's all like, "What the hell are you doing out here?" And he's just like, "No, no, that's not possible." Like, do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if you've seen this meme yet or not, but there's a meme of that scene, but like the mannequin is placed over with Kevin James as a director, and like so Will Smith's yelling at him, and Kevin James is like, "Whoa, Will, you need to calm down. We're just trying to shoot a scene here." And of course, Will's just going his normal stuff in the movie. And then eventually, Kevin James like, "Oh, you want to do this?" Pulls out his own gun. And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, that's right." It's so good. I love it so much.
If you can find that, I would love if you could send that to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's too good.
Now, one thing I have realized recently,
Uh,
which I don't know if you've seen both endings of I Am Legend, but there are indeed two separate endings.
there's a second one.
Yes. Now, people okay, first of all, the Mandela effect, people love to blame, shit on the Mandela effect, basically saying, "Oh, we all remember it being this way, but it was from our childhood when we were all like 4 or 5 years old and we can't remember it, blah blah blah." And then, like 20 years later, they're like, "Whoa, that's not how I remember this thing from my childhood when I could barely remember anything." I was like, "Yeah, fucking course. You were a
Uh,
child with impressionable memory, and you're not going to remember every specific detail. You'll remember it a specific way." Like, I've done the same thing with TV shows where I could quote a line, but then a couple of the words are changed, and then I'm like, whoa. And, like, I did the same thing with listening to, songs, and I'm like, I don't remember this part being in there. I'm sure it
yeah,
was. I'm sure I just never focused on that part.
yeah. It's kind of like everyone technically misquoting with Star Wars. People are always saying Luke, "I am your father," when actually, if I remember right, it goes, "No, I am your father."
Yeah, it's no, I am your father, not Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
Because he goes, "You killed my father," and he goes, "No, I am your father." And people love to blame that on the Mandela effect. Same thing with the Berenstain Bears. People love to think that it was the Berenstein Bears, but it wasn't. It was the Berenstain Bears. Instead of Steen, it's Stain. And
Uh,
so people just now recently, like I'm talking this year, started figuring out that I Am Legend had a second ending. So if you bought a
hmm.
copy or watched a copy in theaters, they could be two completely different endings. Now, if you don't want me to spoil the ending for you, I won't. You could always go try and find the second ending, but you won't really know what ending you're getting until you watch the very end. So there's nothing else. The only thing that changes about the movie is the ending.
Hmm.
So are you fine with me telling you that right now?
Oh, for me, yeah, I don't care.
Okay. Disclaimer: skip over this part in the video if you
Spoiler
are
alert.
like wanting to watch a movie from like 2011. Again, I guess. Basically, the ending we all remember, right, is that Will Smith blows himself up with a grenade, right, to save the mother and the child, right, so they can go to the camp with all the rest of the humans.
Yeah.
And that way it destroys most of the other zombie creature things. Well, that's because he blows himself up because he was a second away from creating the vaccine, right? Now, in the second ending, he doesn't blow himself up. Instead, he's able to stop the zombies from breaking through that glass as he proves that he has a vaccine, and then the zombie on the table is continuing to breathe.
Huh.
Yeah, so the first ending is supposed to pull on your heartstrings a little bit more than the second one is. The first one is to say, oh, he sacrifices himself, you know, and all of his research over the past whatever years. But the second one is more of saying, he actually did it. He actually cured the virus or whatever. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Was
not.
this like a director's cut or something?
I don't believe it's director's cut. I believe it was just a general, second ending that people don't remember because when they see, like, oh, top 10 sad movies and they talk about the ending, but the ending's always with a grenade. It's never with the saving of the human race, you know.
Yeah.
And so people, just like with the Star Wars quote, um, blame it on the Mandela effect, and they forget how they originally saw the movie, and they convince themselves that they saw it the same way everyone else did, which, as we all know, physically impossible. Um,
Yeah.
and I also want to gripe on this movie real quick. Personally, I
Was
love I
that?
Am Legend, but there's a lot of shit that just doesn't make sense in the movie. Like a lot of shit.
Yeah, I
Um,
get that. I always sorry to cut you off.
you're fine.
I get that. It's like I always find it weird that like the whole time Will Smith's alone in the city, like for many, many moments. And just out of nowhere, once he's in the accident, all of a sudden a human shows up and they're like, oh yeah, yeah, we're the town over. We're the next town over.
But not only that, he's consistently going to the same spot every single day, right? And going, oh, if there's anyone alive, come meet me here. But then the second that he meets someone alive, he then goes, no, no one's alive. I'm the last person alive. Even
Yeah, or
though
at least he likes to act that way.
he even states, because they're talking about the camp, in that one part of wherever they went, something like the last
Yeah.
refugee camp that they were talking about, and Will Smith then goes, "No, that camp's there's no one there. Blah blah blah. People don't survive. Whatever. Even though he survived, his and these two people that he's talking to survived as well. Also, can we just talk about how he in a New York apartment has a whole fucking lab set up, like a research lab
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
enough
right.
power to fuel that lab? Not possible. That would be like a multi-million dollar apartment in New York.
Oh, definitely. But I mean, I guess since it is like oh what's that word called? Um, uh, basically, since he's in a town all in ruins, he could just live in whatever apartment he wants.
Yeah. But even then, like, also, did they take the time? Did the army take the time to put drapings over different buildings? Like, why? Why would they do that? Also,
Hmm.
can we talk about how I Am Legend accurately depicted Batman versus Superman before it was ever announced?
Where'd you get that?
It's on one of the billboards in the movie. It's
Oh,
Batman v Superman. Like, hold on. Let me look it up just to make sure that I'm not fucking crazy, right?
it's all right. I mean, I think it's possible because they do plan movies so far in advance, like long before they try to release anything about it to the public.
Yeah, it says it's the Batman logo, and then on front and on the top of that is the Superman logo, and it says what looks to be 5/15/30 or something like that, which obviously didn't come out in 2030, but
Yeah.
it did accurately depict Batman versus Superman.
Huh.
5:15:10, which also wasn't a thing. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh, okay. I see it.
And then like
Huh.
the movie just has so many inconsistencies, and I highly recommend anyone out there that's listening to go watch Cinema Sins on YouTube. And he covered an episode, and he covered an entire video on I Am Legend, and he talks about a lot of shit that just doesn't make sense, like different nitpicky things. But like even watching it the first time, you start to think like this well trained dog just randomly goes to chase after the deer this one time after being, just perfectly trained up until that moment.
Mm.
Like there's so many things that just don't make sense in that movie, even though it is a great movie in my opinion.
Oh, it's a stellar movie.
It's like Baby Driver. All right, one of my all-time favorite movies is Baby Driver. Um, if you've not seen it, I can lend you a copy of it. But
I have not, but all right.
Baby Driver, is a movie about a group of people that does heists, and they rob banks, blah blah blah, whatever, right? And it's got Kevin Spacey before all the allegations with him, being a predator. Uh,
Uh,
but it's got crap. What's his name? What's the name of the man? Uh, let me find the cast. Ansel Elgort. Okay, perfectly plays this guy named Baby,
uh,
uh, who is partially um deaf. I think he's got tinnitus. He's got a ringing in his ears, so he's always wearing headphones and listening to music. So what they did with the movie is they synced up the entire score of the movie, right, to line up with the movie.
yeah.
Like at one point in one of the scenes, he's walking down the street and music's playing, and some of the words and like the images of the song are appearing as like graffiti or on stickers or something. And then as he walks the same street but in the opposite direction, like coming back from somewhere, there's some of the graffitis spray painted over and put up with the different words to match the song. Like all the
Huh.
action sequences are lined up with the music. Like every gunshot, every reload, everything is lined up with this music. It's an amazing movie. It's a complete like 10 out of 10 in my book, even though I know there are some inconsistencies with it. But I'll lend you a copy of that so you can watch it. And
All
anyone out
right.
there, I highly
Cool.
recommend it because it is a fantastic movie. Um, it's
Uh,
funny at times. It's heartwarming at others. It's just all around a good movie, and I believe it features the Gunn brothers, as their first uh, directing debut or whatever.
uh-huh.
Before, director was Edgar Wright, yeah, but the Gunn brothers worked on the soundtrack and everything.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is an amazing, perfect movie in my opinion.
Cool, cool. Yeah, just like judge from the title, like the first thing that kind of popped in my head and your like short description afterwards, I was kind of thinking like, oh, well, maybe it stars like a teenager, like a teenager just learning how to drive and he's stuck trying to drive the getaway van for the heist.
That's kind of what he does.
It's
But
like,
it's also got fuck, it's got a lot of famous actors. I just can't remember any of their names right now.
oh, I'm not good with actors, actresses, and all that.
I I just personally love, the soundtrack, the different fight sequences, even like they do their own like car stunts. So like Fast and Furious, a lot of that shit's CG, and it's
Yeah,
it's done to where the like the car is being pulled by a truck. So they're really not going anywhere. All they have to do is film the reactions of the people inside the car. So it makes it look like they're driving.
uh,
Baby Driver doesn't do that. All of the stunts that they do are 100% practical, meaning that they do them there on set, like actually on set. So like if he fucking drifts the car, he drifts the car. Now, if a car explodes, they're gonna have to put CGI and shit like that over.
it's
But
a
I mean,
little
like all,
bit,
all the racing scenes, are 100% practical, as to my knowledge.
Hmm. That's cool. That's a good attention to detail.
Yeah, I really do appreciate how well that movie was made.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out, man.
Also, people that are watching, if you would like to leave us recommendations for what we should talk about, please put them in the comments, and we'll bring them up on some future episode.
Yeah, toss us a bone. Few ideas here or there.
Movie recommendations, game recommendations, whatever it is. You know, if it's music or movies or something like that, I'll listen to it, and then we can talk about it. So,
All right.
just as a heads up for everyone listening in and tuning in. But
Yeah. Speaking of music, oh man, dude, forget. Dude, did I ever show you a band called Sell Your Scores?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they finally just released a new single, like I think last week, called 1999. So good. So good. Because like since all the COVID stuff happening, they've been kind of like forced into a slight hiatus. I mean, they kept up with their social media and whatnot, but they finally got together and released on it. So I think they're going to come out with a new album by the
Ooh,
end of this year. So I'm so excited for that. I'm definitely excited.
they're a really good band. I like their stuff.
Me too, dude. Me
Them
too.
and fuck, was there was one more that you showed me, the one that plays Dakota.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
why can't I think of it right now?
I don't know. Funny enough, I just listened to Dakota earlier today.
I'm sure I'll be able to find it. Like I've listened to quite a few new bands just coming up in my playlist. Between you and me, that's the band.
Ah,
They have quite a few good songs. You know, there's
right.
them, Coheed and Cambria. You know,
Oh, yeah, good old Cody Cambria.
uh, 4 Year Strong was a good one that I liked. With I Hold Myself in Contempt. That's a fun song. And then for people that have never heard it, please go listen to 2019 Guy. It's more of like a
19 guy. I.
yeah, it's more of like a meme
So
song,
good.
but I love it. It's unironically good.
Yeah, no, sure. It has a good beat. To me, it's kind of similar to Ninja Sex Party,
Yeah,
where like especially where like NSP is now. To me, it's like the lyrics are comedical. I think that's the word. And but the music, the beats are just really good. Just really good, like solid music standpoint. And then they just throw in comedy for the lyrics.
right,
And I think I personally, to me, like comedy songs can be really good or just feel like a bit, more like just a bit instead of like a song. So for me, like the 2019 guy feels more of a like comedy song and like a bunch of NSP's work, whereas like examples like Bo Burnham, like a bunch of his work. I love his work. He's hilarious, but to me, a bunch of his songs feel more like just a comedy bit than like more music focused. Like I think those songs are more focused on the comedy than the music.
right. It's not really like it's not something that you're gonna want to listen to like over and over again because once you've heard it once, you've heard it multiple times. You know.
Yeah, I mean like Bo, he has a couple good hits that I like that I'll quote from time to time or like listen to here or there. But like I don't have like a solid following on his stuff compared to like NSPs or well mostly NSP I should say. Um because to me it just feels like to me they have that good balance of comedy and music to it, to where it has great jokes in it, but it's not just a star. Like to me, they're more music focused, and then they want to throw in the comedy. Whereas like a bunch like comedic bits where they still want to focus on the comedy compared to the music.
Right. And so like there's a new group that I found, or they're not new, but it's news to me, called the
Uh-huh.
Rare Americans.
Uh-huh.
And they have a song called Brittle Bones Nikki, and their songs are more like story based, um, more on like an aspect of trying to convey you a story, but the song is still really good,
Mm-hmm.
without watching the music video behind them. So I really recommend for people to check out, all the bands that we've listed today,
Oh, by
especially like
far.
some of the later ones where, you either get to check out those like specific songs, but just trying to grow your own like musical bias, I should say.
Oh yeah, nah, like yeah, definitely. It's just um I don't have any hate for like any of these artists, like bunch of good stuff.
Yeah, because I know for like a while I was stuck within my own little bubble of music. So it
Oh
really does
man.
help listening to other people's music to kind of decipher what I could or could not like.
Yeah, it helps broaden your horizons. I mean, I can't tell you how long I stuck to like practically just Fall Out Boy. Like Fall Out Boy is by far my favorite band. They still are, but I don't listen to them nearly as often as I used to because back then Fall Out Boy is pretty much all I ever wanted to listen to until I had friends show me more variety of like that style of like punk rock or like pop punk, whatever you
Yeah.
want to put it. And like now there's a bunch of bands that like for example like when I got into A Day to Remember, I heard them over a random like Spotify radio playlist, and I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed like what was it? What's their one song? Like not right now. I can only think of Downfall of Us All, but at first that song I kind of didn't like it, but later on it grew on to me. But basically, what I'm getting at is that with A Day to Remember, Settle Your Scores was recommended similar to that. And because I was listening to A Day to Remember radio, one of their songs came on. And like it's just little things like that when you take time to like take recommendations from friends or take a chance with just a random radio playlist off of Spotify that you can find some really, really good artists.
Yeah. Like, I personally couldn't get into Fall Out Boy's Mania album because that's
Uh
just not really a genre of music I listen to. I don't really listen to a lot of like techno because that's what it was. It was more like voice changing shit. And to me, that's not what Fall Out Boy was. And then like after that, they went back to how they were doing shit and more like pop punk.
pretty
Like
pretty
I
much. I mean, like in me like to me the best example of what you're just saying is Young and Menace.
yeah,
That song I wish that was not the first song that they released as a single because I mean I get why they did that because they wanted to show that this album was going to be like a new style that they want to try out. But it was just to me that song is definitely by far my least favorite Fall Out Boy song
it's horrible.
because mostly just because I'm fine with them wanting to change up their music style, but it didn't have the essence of Fall Out Boy, if that makes
Right.
any sense. Like they had the lyrics, they had like Fall Out Boy style of lyrics of like a bunch of like pop references and like little like cues here or there to make you think a little bit, but just in general, the sound of it, the style of the whole song, I should say, is just it's off-putting. It doesn't give that Fall Out Boy feel. The rest of the album, bunch of the songs of that album, for me, I'm like, yeah, this is Fall Out Boy. This is a new sound, but I can see where they're going with this, and personally, I enjoy it.
Yeah. I just I don't know, like that kind of stuff. And it's not saying that like I can't enjoy anything with like voice changing because like there's a really great band called the Glass Animals, and what they
Uh,
do is they kind of want to perfect each song before they put it out there. So like for one of their songs called Tokyo Drifting or Tokyo Drift, whatever it was, that's one of
uh-huh,
my favorite songs by them. They got Denzel Curry to rap on their song, even though they're not a rap group. Um,
uh-huh.
but they were like, it would not sound better with anyone else. Like he would was literally the only one that would work on it. And if they didn't get him, they said they were just not going to put out the song. And I was like, see, and that's commitment to the sound that they wanted to put. So they wouldn't just, make it a bad song, put it out there and say, hey, this is some new stuff that we want to do. Unlike Fall Out Boy, that they were just like, this Young and Menace song doesn't sound good, but it's what we want to do in the future for a little bit, so put it out there anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's,
I
it's
mean,
funny
like,
because, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
no, no, no. Um, let's see here. There's one good song off of the album I like, and it is no, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Wilson. Wilson.
Yeah.
That song. Ooh, that song's so good. I like that song. That to me, that is one of the like songs that I think is a perfect blend of Fall Out Boy's new sound. What the sound that they wanted to go for, I should say, in this album, with like their style. Like that song to me perfectly captures the essence of Fall Out Boy with the new style that they're trying to go for.
And it's crazy because personally, I love the art for the Mania album itself.
Uh-huh.
It's probably my favorite out of all their album covers. Like, I just think the other album covers, they look fine, but I just think that the Mania album just looks the coolest out of the rest.
Oh yeah, I like that purple neon feel that they do with it. It's really cool. It makes it stand out.
Right. And the real ones wasn't bad for Fall Out Boy. It's just
I
that
think that was a good hit.
that album just kind of threw me off. It threw me for a loop with them.
Oh, I don't blame you at all. Like I said, their whole focus was a slight new style change. At least that's what they're going for. Because I say that because with their second compilation album that they came out with, Believers Never Die Volume 2, they added two brand new tracks in that album, and one of them is Bob Dylan. If you listen to that, um, Bob Dylan is good. It's very good. But to me, that song doesn't carry the sound from Mania. To me, that's more of a sound from, I would say, either Save Rock and Roll or American Beauty, American Psycho, like around that era when they came back from their hiatus.
Yeah. That
Like that,
was
Bob Dylan's really good. Really good.
I think like American Beauty, American Psycho is when they kind of started to try and go into a whole new genre of what they wanted, like of what their previous music sounded like.
Uh-huh.
Because like I know, and people are gonna like be like, well, they did, screamo first. Yeah, I know they did screamo first. I'm not stupid. I know their first album had screamo. You know, like I understand that. I completely do. I just think that from the aspect of after their first album, they started taking more of like a punk rock instead of screamo, and then you know, Save Rock and Roll is the last full one where it was more punk rock, and then American Beauty was something else. It wasn't bad. I liked most of the songs on there. You know,
Uh-huh. Yeah, American Beauty, American Psycho. I would agree. That's when they started wanting to kind of incorporate a new change because with Save Rock and Roll, that was their like return album after the hiatus, which to me that gives a more modern feel of their old style. Like to me that was a perfect comeback album for them of just basically just giving an HD sound to
yeah,
their old style because to me that's what it feels like. And then with American Beauty, American Psycho, when that came out, and a bunch of tracks on that, to me that is the point where they still kept that high definition, like older sound, but with a few tracks in there of them trying to infuse a new style into it until they tried to fully commit to a brand new style with Mania.
yeah,
But I mean, I agree with like their outlook. It's just like like if you stick to the same style, eventually you're going to become stale, and that you gotta strive to find new and better things. And so with Mania, even though it is a drastic different style and a bunch of like other fans of Fall Out Boy and people that listen to them that I talk to about who typically don't care for much of their stuff. Um, I can easily see why people don't like the more modern Fall Out Boy stuff because it is a different sound.
Yeah, I fully get that.
And like for me, since I like them and I still follow them, I still see where they're going, like what they're trying to do with an album. Whereas compared to what they've done before. And I like the new change. It's not a bad change, not the greatest change, but I think it was a great way to keep them still relevant with their new music.
Yeah, I fully get that. I think that's the best way to put it is that, like, if you are a long term fan, you understand what they're trying to do versus um, what they are doing.
But who knows? I mean, right now I'm just excited for their tour.
With
Uh
Green Day and Weezer.
and Weezer, yeah. Like to me, this is an amazing lineup for a tour for them. Like I love all three bands. They're so good. And the last few tours Fall Out Boy has done has been mostly with like hip hop artists, which nothing wrong with that, but to me those are like two vastly different music genres. So the few shows that I went to, and you even went with one with me, is just like you could tell who was there for Fall Out Boy and who was just there for like let's see, one of them. I think it was Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one like you and I went together.
yeah.
Um, and it's just like again, there's nothing wrong, but to me, just with this new tour that they're doing, it's just a solid show. Just like the same music genre with all three bands, and like for me, since I like all three, it to me that is just an awesome music concert to go to of just constant music that I know I'm familiar with and enjoy with three very good bands.
Hmm. Like,
And then plus, but then plus, every single show that they're doing in the U.S. is in baseball stadiums.
that's cool.
I'm
That's
like
really
that.
really cool.
I'm like that's really cool.
My whole thing with their
all right.
concerts is I don't think that they should be continuing to put themselves with bands or artists that are bigger than them or more known than them. So like when they did it with the Wiz Khalifa one, it kind of made me mad because you could tell that 60% of the audience was there for Wiz Khalifa because 60% of the audience left after Wiz Khalifa was off the stage and then Fall Out Boy took
Oh,
the stage.
definitely,
And I thought that was
definitely.
kind of sad because I'm like, it's Fall Out Boy's show. Wiz
Yeah, they
Khalifa
were pretty much the
stars,
headliner.
right? And I was like, it just kind of, I was like, I feel bad because that's their audience that they're losing.
Uh huh.
And so that was personally like a phenomenal concert, and I liked it.
Oh, it was great. Oh, it was so good.
And I,
Man, Fall Out Boy's part in that was awesome. Really awesome.
and I think that it's fantastic that they are such a good concert band. You know,
Uh,
despite Mania, because fuck that shit. Because
hmm.
we all heard how that happened with Jimmy Fallon and on their other concerts where the voice thing doesn't always sound the best for some of
Oh
the Mania
God.
songs. Like it just sounded horrible. It sounds better in recording.
Yeah.
Um, but it's great that they're able to do more concerts, and I'm glad that they're coming back to the U.S. to tour.
Oh yeah, definitely. Same dude.
And it's even better that they got Carl Weezer to perform with them. You know.
Hi,
Um,
Jimmy's mom.
Jimmy's mom. I think with that note, though, that's a good spot to end off for this episode of the podcast.
All right, all right.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I really hope that you enjoy this kind of newish look at how the podcast is gonna go down with newer people, more guests appearing on the podcast as time goes on. But again, If you have anything that you want to talk about, leave it in the comments below, and I'm sure we'll be able to talk about it at some point. But thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for having me, dude.
Of course. Bye, everyone.
Later, Gators.